Here. In this video, I will be sharing with you the secrets of how to practice Danse Macabre, specifically in the measures between 253 and 272. When you look at these measures, you kind of freak out. You're like, oh my gosh, what the heck do I do with this? I don't know how to practice this. So I'm going to take all of that away 100% and actually don't even freak out about what's on the page, because what I'm going to show you and how to do it, you can actually do without looking at the music. Only you have the notes that you need to know from the music, but don't freak out because of how it looks on the page. I know it looks really intimidating, but it's not. It's really actually very, very easy. So let's get to it. The first chord you have is a C minor chord, G, E flat, C, G, okay? So you have your E flat low 1 on the D string, and your 2 has to grab the 5th, meaning it has to sit on 2 strings at once, okay? And what we're going to do is actually isolate the left hand and the right hand. We're going to divide the body up into 2. And first we're going to talk about the left hand, and then we'll talk about the right hand, okay? That makes things so much easier. So we get that good C minor chord. Get a nice beautiful sound on that, okay? Just to check those pitches, okay, that they're really in tune, all right? So you have your C minor chord, and then you just move your 1 up to E natural, okay? And you actually do your C minor chord for 2 measures, and you do your C major chord when you move it up to E natural, you do that for 2 measures. So the way you want to practice that is, okay, just staying really remote right now in the lower half here, and just getting that left hand. So we'll do that again 2 times each, C minor, C major. Okay, get that going. And then after that you have a wonderful F major chord, A, F, C, A. Okay, so just think of these as 2 double stops basically that you're connecting together. So you have your AF and your CA. Don't make your job difficult and think about the 2 middle strings. You don't need to, because when you slur them together, you hear everything that you need to hear crystal clear. So you don't need to worry about those 2 middle strings, okay? Just 2 double stops slurred together. All right, so we have this F major chord for 2 measures. 2 measures, okay? So let's go back. Let's put it all together. We have our C minor chord for 2 measures. C major, F major. Okay, so you want to actually, when you're practicing it, that speed might be a little fast for you right now, and you need to go from just one to the next. So if you're having a little difficult time going from one to the next, just practice going from one to the next. What do I mean going from one to the next? Going from the C minor to the C major, or the C major to the F major. Okay, and then as far as the bowing, if you feel like it's a little complicated for you to change on an up bow like I did, then just continue with like a two downs, if that's easier for you. The most important thing is that you're switching quickly from one chord to the next, so you can get comfortable changing fast. Because even though we're playing one chord for 2 measures and another chord for 2 measures, you have a split second to change from one chord to the next. So your left hand's got to be very, very fast and on the ball when it changes from one chord to the next. Okay, so let's do it again. 2 measures of C minor, C major, F major. Now let's practice that. Let's go from the C major to the F major. So you can practice really getting those fingers fast. Okay? All right. My hair is just a little dry, and it's starting to come off here on these wonderful, exciting chords. Okay, so after the F major, then we have A major. So you do your F major for 2 measures, and then you move to A major for 2 measures, okay? So let's play that A major chord. You have to grab the 5th. Your 1 has to sit on 2 strings, on the G and the D. And then you have the C sharp A on the top. Really listen to that. It's really nice and in tune. Okay, so you might have to play it a couple times to get those fingers right in the exact spot. Okay? And listen to this A here and this A here, okay? That they're really, really in tune. You want to lock that in solid, okay? All right, so we have that A major. Now let's practice going to the A major from the F major, okay? So the chord before. So we have A, F, the fifth is on the two strings in the middle. So your two has to sit on the two strings in the middle, okay? So we have A, F, C, and A, and we're gonna go from F major to A major. Okay, we'll do that again. Now think about what exactly is my left hand doing to change from one chord to the next. So basically you're going from a low 2 to a high 2. You have your F major here. Your 2 is sitting on the D and the A, and then he's going to move over and sit on the A string only, and your 1 is sitting on both the G and the D. So how does this work? If you think, okay, I'm going from F major, and you only have your 1 sitting on the G string, and then when you switch to the A major, you have to move your 1 over, that's not going to work. You're making your life really, really difficult. So you want to make sure that your 1 is actually sitting on the G string and the D string both when you play the F major chord, okay? So you have to prepare for the A major chord while you're playing the F major chord. Does that make sense? That 1 has to sit on both strings when you're playing the F major chord. Okay, so let's play that F major chord again, and then A major. All right, so the 1 is sitting on both strings for the F major, and then, oh sorry, the F major, let's get the F major, and then the A major. Okay, so that's what we need to have happen between those two. So now let's put it all together, the little stream. This is how you want to practice. Practice from one chord to the next, and then do your little stream, okay? So let's put it all together. We have our C minor 2 times, C major, F major, A major, okay? Pretty awesome stuff. And then you have the first, I don't know how many measures, 6 measures I think that was, or maybe more, all figured out. 1 chord after the next for the left hand, okay? Now, after this, it's really pretty cool because your left hand is just going to be moving up the instrument, okay? So we're dividing this into little sections here. So our first section is what we just talked about, and what I'm going to talk about now is considered the second section, okay? So that's from measure 259. Okay, until the end, which is, what was that, 272. Okay, so 259 to 272 is considered the second section. So let's talk about 259. 259, we're starting in A with an A major chord, where we just left off. Now we're moving the exact same up into the second position, okay? And we're going to a B flat major chord. Okay, so we have our A major. We're shifting up just a half step with all the fingers. Then we get, sorry about the cruncher, that was better. Then we get the B flat major chord, okay? So here's our A major, and then B flat major. Okay, now you want to really listen that B flat major is like really, really in tune. One anchor finger for you can be your second finger, okay? So our second finger is moving from a C sharp to a D. So just shift up and then just check your D with your open D. Okay, mine was just a hair sharp, so I need to know, I need to adjust and not shift up as much, you know, just take the edge off the shift. So let's go A major to B flat major. And then let's check that D. This time just a hair low, okay? So you want to practice going from one chord to the next, just like that, and check that anchor note because he is our middle finger. The other two are probably going to be lined up exactly right if he is exactly right in tune, okay? So remember, your finger relationships stay exactly the same. The 2 and the 3 touch, and there's a space between 1 and 2 while you're shifting up. You're just shifting everybody up a half step. So let's go back to the A major, to the B flat major. Check that too. All right, that was pretty dead on there. Okay, so A major, B flat major. All right, we do it 2 times each. So let's give that a try. Okay, then we're shifting up. Now we're shifting up a whole step to C major. Okay, so you have to shift up an inch for that first finger, and your 2 and 3, the relationship stays exactly the same. So you just shift higher. You shift up 1 inch higher. So let's practice that. Let's get back into that, the B flat major. And we're going to shift to our C major. Here, your 2 is still your anchor. Check it with your open E. Pretty dead on right there. Now, if it isn't, note, okay, I'm a little high or I'm a little low, and practice that shift and let your 2 be the anchor, okay? All right, so now we're on the C major, and now here's where the pattern changes. Up to this point, we've been doing 2 measures at a time for each chord. Here, we're only going to have 1 measure at a time, so you got to change kind of quickly. So here we go from C major to C minor. Easy switch. You just lower your 2, the E, to an E flat. Very easy switch. You stay in the same position, no shifting. Okay, now you go from C minor to D major. So you're going to have to shift up into 4th position. Always know what positions you're shifting to and from, and that it's going to be a whole step shift. So it's going to be about an inch shift. Okay, now the other thing, these 2 are a little tricky because now our relationship between our 2 and 3 are different from one chord to the next. So we have a space in the C minor chord, and they touch in the D major chord. Okay, so we have our C minor, shift up, and you have to bring that 2 up behind the 3. Okay, so that one you might want to isolate quite a bit and make sure that that your 2 is behaving, that you're really, really in tune. Okay, and then, so here, let's go back to our 4th position, D major, and here we're going to move up only a half step, but the finger relationship stays the same, and we're going to good old E flat major. Okay, so here is our D major to E flat major. Here, you want to check the 2. The 2 is your anchor again, okay? So let's do it again to D major to E flat major. Check your 2. It's a G. So make sure it's a really in tune G. Let's do that again. 4th position D major. The 1 is on both strings to grab that 5th, and then you're shifting up just a half step to the E flat major, okay? You might want to isolate that and do it about 10-20 times if you find that it's a little difficult for you to get it in tune. Okay, now from this E flat major, we're going to go back down to that D major, okay? So E flat major, D major, E flat major, D major, E flat major. Okay, and that's it. That you have it all figured out. So that a little bit, those last 2 measures, you can just go practice back and forth between E flat major and D major, okay? All right, so then once you practice your 2 sections, you've divided up into your 2 sections, then start practicing it together, okay? And that's for your left hand. And you can easily have it memorized with no problem. Once you know how many times on each chord, because you're going to be practicing it so much that it's just going to be ingrained in your head, and you'll be able to do it without the music anyway. So next step, okay? So our next step is the bow. A great way to practice this bowing is actually take your left hand completely out of the picture and only do open strings. So basically we're starting, okay? And then that open G, you want to sustain it and hold it because it's going to be actually held longer, just like it is written. Okay, so you have to make sure you have enough bow, because if you run out of bow, you're not going to be able to get those last little notes in there. Actually think about those accents. Where are those accents placed? And if you have a little tricky time with the string crossings, they're not sounding even or fluid, or one note is getting a little bit more bow than the other, just practice it what I call stickies. And also, if you're having a little trouble knowing where the bow changes happen, the stickies are really pretty awesome. Okay, because they really line everybody up. Your bow distribution, your bow direction, everything. The evenness of the string crossings. So you know exactly where those bow changes happen. Now, as far as the rhythm, we have triplet, triplet, and then when you play that quarter note, think of triplet and then the trip on the next triplet, okay? So we have triplet, 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 triplet. All right? And then smooth it out. Once you feel comfortable with that, triplet, 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 triplet. Okay? And then once you feel really comfortable with that, you can speed it up a little bit and then add your left hand. So we start off with that C minor. Okay, and there my string crossing was a little fast, a little kind of crunched in at the tempo that I was doing. It got a little faster, so I would practice stickies with the left hand. Triplet. You can actually put stickies in with the quarter note triplet to help with the timing, the bow distribution, everything. So how that would sound would be. Okay, all right, so those are all the different ways to practice this section and really make it very, very easy. Now, the most important thing, once you have all this down, don't get stuck in the technical side of it. Don't get stuck there, because if you're stuck there, it's going to sound technical and you're never going to get to be played at its full potential, at your full potential. So after working this out and doing your little sections, doing your little itty bits, practicing all that technique, you know what? At the end of the day, after you're done with all that, play it. Play it. Because it's very easy to get stuck in that technique. You've got to play it. And then when you realize when you're playing it, it's like, whoa. Then you have accomplished what you need to accomplish. Sometimes you just get stuck in the technique and you're not able to get to that next level because you're stuck in the technique. Just play. And then the technique is already there. You worked it out. You practiced it. So it'll line up. Okay? So just let that bow flow. Put those accents in there, let it flow, and just enjoy and play. Okay? So, happy practicing, and always remember, be true, be you, be.